It's Thursday. It's not Thursday, is it?
Nah.
No. It's Friday's Talking Reds with me, Craig Hannan, and Fuad Hasan. We just did a clip there where I said it was the wrong day, so a really good start to this video. So hopefully it's better from here on in. Tomorrow Liverpool play Cardiff. They look the business again. They look the business against Red Star Belgrade. They come up against Neil Warnock's Cardiff, which for me is like a little added incentive to absolutely wallop them, because I hate him. He looks like a dinner lady, first of all. That's the most annoying thing about him. He looks like a dinner lady from my school. Walshy's got some stats here for Cardiff. So they played 9, they've won 1, drawn 2, lost 6. They won their last game last week, or their first game last week, which, you know, there could be a little bit of confidence there. Walshy's put they're absolutely jarg. That's his analysis. Nice one, Walshy.
He put stats this time, so that's quite good.
Well, that was yeah. The backup is mad statements. Absolutely jarg. He says. Who are you starting? Because we've got loads of options at the minute, don't we? And you know, I think the game against Red Star Belgrade, there was loads of positives. Aside from the fact that, you know, the front three get the goals, we obviously get a clean sheet. You've got players like Fabinho coming in and just showing us exactly why Liverpool have signed him, and you know, well. He's in the conversation now, isn't he? Do you start Fabinho?
I think I mean I would. I'm not too sure if Jurgen will, but you know, the options we've got there, he has got the opportunity to kind of change things around. But if we can go unchanged, that would be sort of our best way going forward, especially with that front four. I think you need Shaqiri's just bedded in so well with the front three, and the relationship he's built, you know, with the rest of them. I think it's sort of a no-brainer to start him.
Yeah, I think there's my only worry really is yes, I definitely would start him. I think he needs. I think now that we, you know, whenever he came on against Huddersfield, he showed us glimpses, and I think Klopp was right to start him in midweek, give him the full game, get minutes under his belt, and you can see his confidence slowly building. Like, I think first sort of 15-20 minutes, I know the lads discussed it in the post-match show, but there was a lot of shouting from Klopp, and it was directed at Fabinho, and I think he grew into that game, and from then on I just thought he was imperious. Like, I think 9 tackles, wasn't it? It felt like as if he just tackled every single player.
He just snapped into everyone, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Loads of slides, which we don't see a lot from Liverpool players, and I think watching him the other night, we saw something different in him that we don't have in terms of our other midfielders, and that's what interested me most about him. So hopefully he does start. What do you think of Shaqiri? Do you think he starts again?
I think he should. It's a sort of game where that same sort of formation is what we should be looking to do. I don't think Cardiff are going to come here and open up and try and go all out attack or anything like that, so it would be best to kind of keep into that same formation. The players are seemingly kind of like fitting in together. I think, like you're saying with Fabinho, you know, we were talking just before that if there's any injuries in that position, and I think having him back now, he's going to be really important for the next kind of run of games, rotating in and out, and you know, he must be feeling really good. You know, I mean, he struggled. He hasn't gotten to the team.
Klopp, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he must be sick of being asked when you're going to start, when you're going to play for Liverpool, when you're going to get your game, and he's finally got it, and he's taken his chance.
Yeah, I love his attitude, and I love that he gets the big hug off Klopp, and he comes off and he's got this big smile on his face, and you can tell that he from the start he's been telling everyone that he's good enough to play for Liverpool, and he's now showing it. And I think based on his recent performances and how much he's adding to this team, and the impact he's having on the pitch, you know, the assists that he's brought to the team, I think that, you know, within 2 months, if he keeps this up, we could be talking about like the front four rather than the front three, you know, about how important they are. And you know, we can see him doing little things that Chamberlain was doing last season, and that's why we all loved him. And I think it's a massive positive that Shaqiri's doing this, and for, you know, what we paid for him, it's you know, it's an unbelievable coup, and it's just another in a long list of signings where we weren't excited about it. We wondered why we were signing them, and here he is.
I didn't think he had the ability on the ball passing wise, like he's shown. You know, the ball he played to Robertson was brilliant. The ball he played against Huddersfield to Salah was also great, and then that touch for Salah's first goal.
That touch is just instinctive. I think that's unreal. That's sheer quality. That is just. I think
even Klopp afterwards was saying that it was one of the best things he's seen, and you know, long may that continue.
Definitely, I think the fact that we're out of the League Cup now means that maybe maybe he doesn't have to rest as many players. Maybe he, you know, there is a strong chance that he just goes for it with the same team. I think that my only worry really is Robertson and probably Salah as well, because both have played every Premier League game. They've played every Champions League game as well. They've both got rested in the League Cup, but like that's a lot of football. And I think, well, where do you stand on that? Do you think that the fact that we're out of the League Cup, which we would have been playing this week in the build-up to Arsenal, the fact that we've got a week-long rest, do you think Klopp looks at that and goes, right, get through to Arsenal, and then once we hopefully beat Arsenal, from then on in, it's rotation, because there's a big game against Belgrade coming up as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think I'd like to keep the same sort of lineup of the consistency at the back, because you know we got that Arsenal game next week, and to go in with some momentum would be great, especially if we kind of can click again and get a big score again. I know the 3 points are the most important thing, but you know this is hopefully Liverpool clicking again. So I would like to keep it as unchanged as possible. But yeah, no, I do see your point with rotating, and Robertson is the worry, because you know without him, we were Alberto Moreno.
The last thing, yeah, that's exactly. Well, I think that's probably the reason why we maybe aren't as happy to rotate in that position, because we finally got this left back. Like we've got, you know, because you think about like through our history supporting Liverpool, there's always been these problem positions, and left back's always been that one that's come up, and now that we've sorted that, it's like we just want him to play every single game throughout the season, which just isn't possible. But yeah, look, Moreno looked quite bright the other night.
That back heel.
Exactly. And you know, like in this kind of game, I think that, you know, we shouldn't be put under too much pressure, you would hope. No. And I just think maybe this is the game that I would do it with Arsenal, with Belgrade, and you know, then you're looking at Robertson against Arsenal, Robertson against Belgrade. Walshy puts here, should be 10-0. Look, another 4 would be nice. I'd just like that now that Liverpool have finally clicked into gear, as we've said loads of times. I think to continue that and just sort of another steamrolling, 3 or 4 goals, get all of the forwards on, maybe get Shaqiri a goal as well this time. I'd actually I'd like to beat them 5, because Warnock said that City are a level above. City beat them 5, so why not? Yeah, we'll beat them 6, and then we'll show that we're in that same level or even a level above.
I reckon he's still sour about Grujic from the summer.
I think he's just sour about everything, isn't he? Like, he just doesn't like Liverpool. He's made little comments about Scousers before. Remember when Gerrard was in the Sky Sports studio with him? He's just a prick that looks like a dinner lady, isn't he? Joe Gomez, new contract chat. Very exciting. Liverpool have said that they would like to they're looking to reward his development. Have you been surprised by his performances this season? Because, like, I'm probably surprised at the level that he's playing at, in terms of I expect that maybe a couple of little mistakes, or maybe even a couple of little shaky moments, and I just don't think we've seen that at all from him. I think that he's just slotted in there. I think he's probably the best young centre back in the league at the moment. Definitely. And even his performances for England, I don't watch England, but I've said before, where mates of mine texted me saying, look, he's looked brilliant for them as well. So. Are you surprised? Where do you rate him in terms of the other centre backs in the league? And I'll ask you this question: who would you swap him for? Because I don't know how many there are that I would swap him for at this moment.
No one in the league, I don't think I can think off the top of my head. I'd put him on par with Gini in terms of being our best player this season so far. You know, his development, I always think back to when we signed him and that sort of first few games he had under Brendan playing left back, and you know he was kind of known as this big, huge new talent coming through. You had the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea all going after him, and he chose Liverpool, and he looked absolutely brilliant in those first few games. And you know, he was playing out of position as a young player, really took it in his stride, and then the injury comes, and you're kind of worried a little bit after then, is he one of them young players who's going to be hindered by injuries consistently? I think now the way he's going, he's got the potential to be the best centre back in this country for years. You know, he's 21 years old, playing the level he is. You know, he'll be going long after Virgil will be, and he really could take that mantle. I think he is the future for Liverpool, and tying him down would be absolutely massive, because I don't want him going anywhere. To be honest.
No, he's been such a pivotal part of Liverpool's form this season.
Yeah.
5 clean sheets in 9, best start ever to a season defensively. Which, if you tell us that that's going to happen a year or so ago, we just wouldn't have believed you. Like, it's always been that Jurgen Klopp's sides have been brilliant going forward, but maybe a little bit shaky at the back and susceptible to mistakes, and we're just not seeing that. And Alisson and Virgil have taken a lot of the headlines, but Joe Gomez has been a huge part of that, and he's almost, what gets me with him is he almost is like a mini Van Dijk. There's no better defender to learn from and to play alongside, to just calm everything down for you. But the things he's doing, like he's able to he has this ability to step into midfield, and you see the ball he puts into Shaqiri for Salah's goal at Huddersfield. That I love that he's just able to step forward. He's able to bring the ball forward. He's great. He is great in the air, but he's great with his feet, and he just seems to be almost moulding himself into a little mini Van Dijk, which is brilliant.
His pace as well. There's that clip from the Red Star game. Wait, he absolutely legs the winger, and I mean, this is a winger for a Champions League team, and he absolutely belts it and gets to the ball before him. I think he's got. The reason why I think he fits so well with Van Dijk is he has got pretty much all his attributes, and he might, I think he's slightly quicker than him, and he's probably going to go on to develop to be towards the same level, if not even higher. So yeah, it's really positive. And I think back to the Napoli game where everyone was quite poor, but he stood out for me because he really took the game by the scruff of the neck. And this is a 21-year-old playing in a Champions League away game at a really tough ground, and that for me kind of confirmed it, because you could just see him really taking everything into his stride. That he wasn't kind of, nothing kind of scared him in that game, and I think he's going to continue. I don't see him dipping in form anytime soon. No, definitely, and I go back to something I said at the start of the video, whereby this season just feels like the thing where the sort of the puzzle all has clicked together in terms of the players that we've got. And if you compare it to this time last season, where we're having a discussion around the goalkeeper, we're having a discussion around the left back because Robertson still hadn't broken through. This is just after we've been beaten by Spurs 4-1, and we're having a discussion about our centre backs because we don't have Van Dijk at that stage. Gomez was playing right back, and now it's just completely different. It seems that we've managed to fix those. So we build from here and onwards and upwards. Mo Salah, 50 goals, quickest to 50 goals in Liverpool's history. Wolsey's got a list of people here. So he got to 50 goals in 65 games, which is just outrageous considering we thought we were signing a winger who a backup to Mane. Yeah, a backup to Mane who sort of hugs the line, and and we've just got this machine in front of goal. So I've got a list here of the players who got to 50 goals in the quickest time. So Albert Stubbins, I'm sure you'll know him. Oh yeah. He got to 50 goals in 77 games. Oh. He played during the 1946 to 53. That's when he played for Liverpool, quite a while back. Craig knew this before the video, by the way. I absolutely did not. Wikipedia or LFC history or something. I've got a good stat actually. I found this. I really hope this is true. I found this on the internet, and I really hope it's true. Basically, he's the only footballer to appear on Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club, the Beatles album cover, which is interesting. There you go. Yeah. Take it home with you. Tell your mates. So Stubbins got it in 77 game, Roger Hunt 79, Fernando Torres 84, Rush 87, Suarez 91, Fowler 94, Dalglish 99. He got to 50 goals in 99, and there's Mo Salah 50 goals in 65. It's outrageous. To be honest, do you think we sort of take that for granted? Do you think? Look, I know he's sort of risen to this. He signs for us, and he's a one of the standout players in Serie A, but he isn't a world superstar, and now he is. He's got his face in New York's Times Square. He's got, he was one of the poster boys for this World Cup going into it, and everyone was excited to see Mo Salah. Whenever we were in America on tour, we were speaking to taxi drivers, and they knew nothing about football, but they knew who Mo Salah was, and it is that he genuinely is a proper world-renowned footballer. Yeah. So, where does he rank in terms of the players that you've seen? I know there's on that list, there's Torres, there's Suarez. You'll have seen a little bit of Fowler, but probably missed him in his heyday. Where does he rate in terms of
Not just in terms of goal scoring, in terms of what he's doing, in terms of everything that he does for Liverpool Football Club. Where do you
I think you've got to put him up there because the numbers don't lie, and the goals he scored. These are big goals in Champions League semi-finals and in all sorts of big games. The quarter-final game where really sticks out, and he's definitely up there with those two. The likes of Torres and Suarez for me are the ones I've seen more of, and Suarez and Torres had that, well, especially Suarez for me, that kind of ability to get a goal out of nothing, and I think Salah has got that in his game as well. It may not look as good as Suarez did in terms of how he'd get through players and his little nutmegs that he would do and things like that, but he's definitely up there, and I think he's on this kind of trajectory where he always kind of knew he had it in him. I think now he's set the expectations where he's got to get them for himself. It's not about anyone else. It's not about the outside pressure. I think since he's had that season last year, he's determined to show that he's not just, it's not just a one-off. He wants to keep going and reach the top. And I think he's got a manager who's brilliant for that, and a manager who encourages that, and it creates the environment for the squad, for the players to kind of thrive off. And he is unreal.
He's got the players around him as well.
Yeah.
I think all the foundations are there for Mo Salah to be a legend at this football club, and I know that word gets bandied around a lot. And I know Gareth Robbo, he'll always sort of he's talked in podcasts and on videos at times about the word legend and who from that list would you say is a legend, and that Suarez wasn't, because although he was a brilliant footballer and he might have been, he probably is the best footballer I've seen in real life in terms of the things he was able to do with a football. He's not a Liverpool legend because he wins one trophy, he doesn't achieve big things, and I think that the foundations are definitely there for Mo Salah to achieve those. He's got the manager, he's got the fan base, the club's pointing in the one direction, and he's got the players around him to achieve those things, and you can see sort of the progression at this football club. So hopefully I have no doubt that he'll hang around, to be honest. I think that everything is here for him to achieve everything that he wants to in football.
I think when you talk about legends as well, it's not just on the pitch, it's off the pitch, what they're like, their kind of character, and he fits that profile, a really humble guy, and he just seems like a lovely guy, to be honest.
And as a footballer as well, he's created so many moments for us, not just moments for the football club that will be remembered throughout its history, and great goals. I mean, like proper moments that as fans you can like reminisce and sort of relive in your head and reminisce over, and the one that sort of stands out for me in terms of my favourite Mo Salah moment is, and do you know what, it could be one of my favourite moments in football as a football fan, is that goal against Man City in the away game where you've got all of the worry that Man City might get back into this, and he just pops up, dinks him, does the godlike celebration where he stands in front of the away
everywhere.
fans, and I love that I love the footage from behind him where he stood like Jesus, that's and you can see all the fans sort of like falling down the stairways and clamouring over each other and the joy in their faces, and that's exactly what football's about, and I'd do anything to relive that
honestly
moment. So Mo Salah creates that for us, and I think too often we look at stats and we'll look back on what players achieved, but my word, Mo Salah's given us some moments, and I think he'll continue to do so. So what's your favourite? It can be a goal, it can be a celebration, it can be an assist, it can be anything.
I was going to say that one, to be honest, but then also that, I think it's not underrated, but I think that Roma second goal, it's an unreal finish. I mean, how quick we counter-attack it, and the way he kind of does it effortlessly. He's chipped him from the edge of the box, and he's put it right in. And I don't know. From where I was sitting, it looked like one of the best goals I've ever seen, just because of how elegantly he just kind of lifted the ball over him, for those few moments he looked unplayable. I think he was, no one could touch him, not a single defender could get near him. He was getting away from everyone. Fine, he wasn't scoring every kind of shot or anything like that, which you see some players do, but I think that's one huge one for me.
I think as well the other goal in that game, I think when you think of because you often get asked, and like, what's your favourite goal? And it's a really difficult one, but when you are asked it, you sort of have to think of a few things. You don't just think of how the goal looks, you think of, who scored it, what that goal meant, like what the game was, how big the game was, and to score those two goals in a Champions League semi-final against your old club, and be part of that game, that kind of game, is just, it's unreal. And yeah, that's definitely I think that was there was a few moments throughout that season where you looked at Mo Salah and you almost were laughing at each other at the things he was doing and how like ludicrous they are, and I think those 2 goals against Roma were definitely
it's horrible. You couldn't celebrate those goals. I mean, you just scored 2 goals in the Champions League semi-final. He's just standing there and out of respect, but still.
I love a mad celebration. I love like when, especially against their old team, like it aggravates me when I see a footballer, but there was something nice about that in terms of like I didn't miss out on any sort of celebration because we were falling about and there was pyro all over our eyes and everything. So that was there was something sort of elegant about it, the way he does that and just sort of stands. I don't know, something cool about it. So we have a live show tomorrow in Liverpool. If you're about in Liverpool before the game, obviously we play Cardiff tomorrow. We're doing a live show On Air. That's in Kane's Brewery. I think it's on Parliament Street. There should be tickets on the door unless we sell mass amounts today. Tickets are available at theanfieldwrap.com/tall live or on ctickets.com. Maybe just drop us a message. There should be tickets on the door tomorrow if you do fancy it last minute. Some of the shows coming out, I don't have them in front of me, so I'm going to have to just go for it here. We've got The Weekender, which came out this morning. We have the Friday show, which came out yesterday on a Thursday. Not sure either. We've got AFQ out later on. We've got the Team Talk, which is reaction to Jurgen Klopp's press conference. I think that we'll be doing that just after 1:30 when the press conference is. So that's everything that's on Saul Player. And then obviously keep up with our socials and our post-match show, our post-match pint on YouTube after the game tomorrow, after hopefully Liverpool click into gear in the Premier League, 4 or 5 more goals, batter Cardiff and Neil Warnock up the Reds.
So basically, we're having a big clear out on the merchandise. We're going to be having new designs, blah blah blah. So we're basically taking more or less everything off. So there's only going to be 2 items that are still on there, which is the Salah Stone Roses one and the Firmino one, because they're sort of the most popular. So we're going to keep them, but everything else is being discontinued.
Must go.
So must go in the next couple of weeks, or I'll be selling them for a £5 each at the live show on Saturday. So if you like the Mo Salah Egyptian one, this is your last chance. Mo Salah, the Egyptian fella, Egyptian king.
We should get Peter Simon in to do this.
Really cool design.
Niche reference.
Manny Christmas with the smoke. Manny's goal against Everton. Christmas is coming. You want a nice Manny Christmas
is
top?
Coming. Facts.
It's been selling well recently in the build-up. Neil Atkinson's finest hour, the dog leads.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
You'll never walk alone. Neil's idea. I was like, he'll never sell. He showed me.
I don't have much to do with the merch, I'll be dead honest with you, but I came up with that and I am dining off it today. Made up with those dog leads. Buy them more than anything else.
And last but by no means least, our book, mate.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, if you want it signed personally to you, me and Neil will do that. We don't even black each other's signatures. We're very insistent on waiting for each other.
Pile of them on my desk, sign them tickets.
So put a little note in there, we'll sign them personally. There are loads of other stuff as well, that's just 4 of it. So get onto theanfieldwrap.com, click on shop and have a little look. As I say, all the stuff's being discontinued. It'll only be sold from now on at live shows, all the mugs and stuff as well. So yeah, get on that.